All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutation unto the hopeful elect. This is the brother Bakwasha, and I really want to go into some of these flattering and double-hearted mentalities that are out here in the world. And really how Esau, the so-called white man, promotes nothing but lies. And when you come into this truth, when you come into this understanding of who we are as a people, as our nationality, the ways in which Yahweh Shai has given us in order to live righteously, your spiritual discernment is heightened. And you now understand who our enemy is. You also understand what his objective is. And it's really to continue the anti-Messiah spirit of rebellion. And he does that through lies. But he also is looking to create a one world organization to where he can sit in the seat of the Heavenly Father to portray himself as God. So Esau, the so-called white man, has an ego complex. He has a pride complex, and he also knows that prophecy is on his tail. And so I want to bring out a couple of quick video clips that go into Esau's words kind of catching up to him now. And through the advent of the internet, people are now able to trace and source the things that Esau was once able to do and corrupt for hundreds of years. Now, through the power of the internet, through the power of connections and mass media, these things are no longer taking hundreds of years to be revealed. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, the end being nigh of Esau, the so-called white man, everything in which he's doing is now backfiring. The things that once had that stay power or that long-lasting effect of potency of lies and sorcery, okay? None of that now has that same effect or that same spell that it used to have. And so I'm gonna start here in Psalms, the 12th chapter, in the 2nd verse, play some of this video, bring out some more precepts, and Lord will, it will be edifying for the elect. It says, they speak vanity everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. What's a double heart? It's a double mind. Okay, scripture talks about how that is how being double-minded is unstable. And Esau, the so-called white man's queendom, okay, is unstable because he has a portion of people that do not know what his agenda is. And so they're following the suit of Esau, but they're also now seeing that the narrative that's being promoted is not what's really going on. It says they speak vanity, emptiness, everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips, okay, those smooth words, and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. So we're going to play this whole video, and the video goes into James O'Keefe, and he is one of the leaders of the Project Veritas. And essentially what Project Veritas is, and you brothers can look it up on your own time, it's basically an organization in which whistleblowers that have not been able to get their stories and their words out through the governed channels of media that are all a conglomerate. Project Veritas and James O'Keefe bring out the stories that mainstream media does not want to bring out because it goes against the narrative, or those flattering lips, or those boastful, prideful words of Esau to have the people believe one thing while he's doing another. Okay, so I'm gonna play part of this video, like I said, and Lord will, this is edifying for the elect.
Why did your agency award this grant despite it being rejected by DARPA due to its concerns about violating the moratorium that was in place? And finally, will you commit today to release all records fully unredacted by the end of this week so Congress and the American people can know the truth about NIH's role and the origins of COVID-19?
So again, Senator, it really pains me to have to just point out to the American public how absolutely incorrect you are. What came out last night on Project Veritas was a grant that was submitted to DARPA. Then it distorted and said, we funded the grant. We have never seen that grant, and we have never funded that grant.
Let's get to the bottom of it. That was Dr. Anthony Fauci on Tuesday, once again changing the subject to mislead after Kansas Senator Roger Marshall asked him about Project Veritas documents that revealed his agency greenlit gain-of-function research in Wuhan, China, and at sites across the country in the United States, despite the Department of Defense rejecting the same study over safety concerns of gain-of-function research. James O.
So, quick synopsis. The DARPA basically said, you guys shouldn't be doing this gain of function research. It's dangerous. If you look at what the acronyms of DARPA is, then you'll understand that. Okay, I'm not going to bring that up right now. Point being here is the Institute still went through with that research, although it was declined from DARPA. What James O'Keefe is going to bring out, which Dr. Fauci, okay, is trying to deny, is they still went forward with the grant, although it wasn't advocated for them to do so because of the dangers and the risk. Okay.
O'Keefe is the founder of Project Veritas, and he says he's committed to exposing corruption at the highest levels of government and media. His new book, American.
Now, I think this guy is a Jake. You know, the O'Keefes go back to, you know, the Irish, but his position against exposing, as she's going to talk about, his position of exposing basically wickedness at a high level is something that most Jakes would do. Okay. Although he may look like an Edomite. All right. I think, you know, his spirit goes back to Jake.
And he says he's committed to exposing corruption at the highest levels of government and media. His new book, American Muckraker, hits bookstores on January 25th, and we are happy to have him ahead of that release. James, good morning to you. Thanks very much for being here.
Good morning, Maria.
Tell us.
And he's got a spiritual name, James.
About those documents that were just referenced in the hearing. What do they tell us?
Well, EcoHealth Alliance approached DARPA, which is a division of the Department of Defense, and for this funding on the gain of function, and it was rejected on the over safety concerns, which flies in direct opposition to Anthony Fauci's testimony. So we had a source come to us with these documents written by a Marine Corps Major, Joe Murphy is his name. We reached out to that Marine Corps Major for comment, and all of this was mentioned in the hearing. Fauci mentioned Project Veritas by name, but DARPA rejected the proposal because it was too risky. They cited safety concerns. So the question remains, why did Fauci proceed with that gain of function research under NIAID when the Department of Defense thought it was too risky? Fauci also seemed to corroborate the authenticity of the documents in the hearing, but he sort of changed the subject and deflected. Obviously, the two grants would have not been identical. So there are a lot of questions here, and Fauci's in the hot seat after the story that came out on Monday.
All right. So knowing that these puppet leaders have these scientists in these positions to have the people swayed as to why there's this pandemic, why this research actually happened, because the storyline and the narrative was always that it was a leak. But what James O'Keefe and his organization are doing, and really the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and I'll bring out a quick precept here, is revealing Esau, the so-called white man, for the liar and the deceitful being in which he is. Because the original story was that there was a leak, but the backstory is that this gain of function research should not have been going on. But all of this is because this is a shoehorn for Esau to begin his swaying of people, the restrictions of rights, just like it was, when the planes, hit the towers. Then all of a sudden, all these restrictions and mandates start to come to where now Esau can implement a new way of life. Okay, Hegelian dialectic. Okay, so I'm gonna pause it here real quick and let's bring this out. This is Psalms chapter 50 and verse 19. It says, "Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit." This is the nature, this is the apex of Esau, the so-called white man. Okay, everything in which he does is going to be centered around evil and around deceit, which is the reason why this guy is revealing the corruption. He talked about some U.S. military guy that corroborated the story, that corroborated that it shouldn't have been done. They have some papers, some documents. Okay, so this is the first part that's really being revealed, is that these puppet leaders have been in these positions to actually continue the narrative of Esau, the so-called white man, which is a lie, which is a form of deceit. Okay, this is Psalms 52 verse 2. "Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness, Selah. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue." Okay. Verse 5. "Yahweh shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living." And this is a slow, methodical process that's happening. The light of the wicked being put out. Esau, the so-called white man, as I said earlier, that was once able to get away with hundreds and thousands of years of corruption and crime and distortion of facts, and having the narrative being controlled by his mass media. No longer, he's losing that grip, that power, that grasp of being able to sway the ideas and frame deceit and devour people through his words and through those miracles that he once had the ability to do, and lying wonders. Okay. Man, let's read that again. Psalms 52 verse 2. "Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs." Okay. Now, if your tongue deviseth mischiefs, what does that mean about your heart and your mind? Okay. "Like a sharp razor working deceitfully." Because these things have now put people in a perpetual state of fear, which is the driving force of why Esau can use that instrument as a tool to guide the people towards the MO to the T to the B in a digital society, in a digital currency. Now, all of these things are leading to our salvation, but he's also being revealed as he takes each step, because he has to come from behind the curtains. He has to reveal himself in order to actually accomplish the thing in which he wants to accomplish. And that's really Yahweh Shai revealing him each step of the way. All right. Because he's still a fugitive and a vagabond. So it's almost like that mask is being taken off or being stripped from him. That imagery of him being untouchable. Now people are on his foot. They're on his heel. Okay, they're not tracking and tracing where is all this evil coming from, and it's circling right back to Esau, the so-called white man. All right, "Thou lovest evil more than good." Okay, gain of function in itself, just as a primary thought process, means that we're going to make something wicked in order to try to come up with a solution for it, because somewhere down the road we don't know if it's going to happen or not. So we need to prepare for something that may or may not happen organically. What? "Thou lovest evil." Okay, this is the reason why he's mad, man. His mind is affixated with death. Okay, anything that involves death, that's his thing. Okay, "Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness." Because Esau, the so-called white man, that's the reason why you have all these hearings with him and Dr. Thrushi, is because he's going to continually lie and lie and lie, because he knows that his false government will allow wiggle room and gray for him to escape, just like the Epsteins and all the rest of the Weinsteins and all the rest of these guys. They typically get some type of slap on the wrist or whatever, because the people that are working for Esau, okay, are doing his agenda. Okay, this is like a big mob. That's what Esau's, quote unquote government system is. Okay, but all of this is being revealed by, like I said, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. Yahweh shall likewise destroy thee forever, and he shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. All right. So let's play a little bit more of that back.
By name, but DARPA rejected the proposal because it was too risky. They cited safety concerns. So the question remains, why did Fauci proceed with that gain of function research under NIAID when the Department of Defense thought it was too risky? Fauci also seemed to corroborate the authenticity of the documents in the hearing, but he sort of changed the subject and deflected. Obviously, the two grants would have not been identical. So there are a lot of questions here, and Fauci's in the hot seat after the story that came out on Monday.
So how could he sit there under oath and say that the documents out of Project Veritas were distorted? Connect the dots for us.
Well, it could be a deflection because the grant that was presented by EcoHealth Alliance to DARPA may not have been identical to the one that Fauci proceeded with under NIAID. But there's no question these documents are real, Maria. I mean, we corroborated them. The Marine Corps major gave a statement on the record. This is a former fellow at DARPA. So the documents are 100% authentic. People can pull into question the Marine Corps major who wrote them, but there really is an inconsistency here. And now we've had members of Congress, also United States Senator Ron Johnson has written a letter to the Department of Defense. So a lot of questions here remain unanswered, and Project Veritas is going to be doing more reporting on this. And the Marine Corps major who gave us this statement, again, the Marine Corps major was not the source of these documents, but he authored them. He has said there are more people on the inside that are going to be coming out. And of course, Maria, there's nowhere else for these people to go. They can't go to the Washington Post. They can't go to any of the large media corporations because they're just busy defending Fauci. They're really one of the only places they can go is Project Veritas, to veritastips@protonmail.com. That's where these whistleblowers go. And that's how we got the information.
And so this last statement he just made was that people on the inside of these corporations are really starting to understand the corruption that's being done on a day-to-day basis, because they see these documents coming through. And they're like, they read the documents, they're like, okay, they're listening to the TV, they're seeing the things that are done, and they can't go to the mainstream media to oust these corporations. So they're coming to guys like him, and he's now blowing the whistle, on their behalf. But ultimately, Esau, the so-called white man, is being made bare. Okay, let's grab this real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. There was a time where treason, going against the government, and being patriotic regardless of whatever the situation was the status quo. That was the norm. Like, you would take a bullet versus saying anything derogatory about the quote-unquote U.S. government. Now that is no longer the case. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is uncovering all of the wickedness, all of the sins of Esau, the so-called white man, and making it bare. Okay? Whether it be direct or indirect, the aim is now towards Babylon, aka America. Okay? Let's read that again. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Removing the crown, removing the locks, making the leg bare. Okay? Revealing all the secret parts. Thy shame shall be seen. And that's exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing people take great pride in, this guy talked about, at the highest levels of government, right, and media, because now he's bringing together how, and I'm kind of alluding to the next part of how government and media are the ones controlling the narrative, because government and media are essentially an extension of each other. And so the people are now seeing that there's nowhere you can go to the media. It's like going to the cops. Well, if the cops are already juiced in, you can't go to the cops. So what you're seeing this massive divide and people now being awakened to Esau, the so-called white man's corruption. Okay. And that's what's being uncovered. And now there's this overall shame. Okay. That was once the glory of kingdoms. Okay. That was once this golden cup in the hand of the Lord is no longer a golden cup. Okay. Now it's being tarnished on a day-to-day basis. It's being rotted out on a day-to-day basis. You know, it's being rusted out. Okay. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai.
Well, we have been reporting as well on the administration's really censoring of important drugs to treat COVID. We don't understand why they have been censored. Also, Dr. Fauci's reported $10 million portfolio includes Chinese companies. We want to talk about that. Let's slip in a short break. I don't know how Fauci can maintain this when we already know that the NIH admitted that they had, in fact, funded gain-of-function research. Stay with us, James. More with you after this short break.
I make a special appeal to social media companies and media outlets. Please deal with the misinformation and disinformation that's on your shows.
Now, this guy's going to break this down, but this is how you know that we're in the last days and there's only so much time left on the clock, man. Because what's happening now is the narrative is not leading the people. The people are disregarding the narrative. And this is after the ploy was to get people to get the jump, to get the juice, right? And it was going well at first. And then they started the waves and the waves of the variants and the waves of the jump shots. But because the insiders were not going along with the narrative, people were losing their jobs. People started to realize, like, man, this is, corrupt. It wasn't quote unquote constitutional. People start looking at the band-aids. They're like, man, what kind of craziness is this? They start looking at the stimulus. They start seeing people getting paid for sitting at home and not saying anything. And now the objective is to control the narrative through misinformation. And having misinformation now be, people are now researching too much. And all of this is going to lead to basically the breaking down of the internet. Okay. But this is really Esau's narrative not having as much potency as it did in the past. So now that lie is being caught, ensnared, and trapped by Yahweh Shemi Shai, and Esau is the one that is trying to set the trap. Now he's the one that's being trapped by Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right, let's bring this out real quick. This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. Once again, you are trying to control the narrative, and you're begging social media companies to control the misinformation, but it's not misinformation. You're trying to label it, you're trying to categorize it as misinformation because the people that are coming from the inside that worked for these organizations are telling people that are on the outside of these organizations, this is a bunch of bullshit. But you can't control those people as you thought that you would have by their jobs, by their money, by this, grandioso imagery of America. So now you have insiders that were once in league with thee, now shooting at thee. And this is all your pop, man. This is some beautiful stuff, Akim. Let's play this one more time.
And disinformation that's on your shows. It has to stop. That's on your special appeal.
That the NIH admitted that they had, in fact, funded gain-of-function research. Stay with us, James. More with you after this short break.
I make a special appeal to social media companies and media outlets. Please deal with the misinformation and disinformation that's on your shows. It has to stop.
And here's the really interesting part, right? There's no real regulation for social media presence. So now the quote unquote freedom or the speech that's on the internet doesn't have any legal ramifications. And so this is where now you're going to start to see, well, since, there's so much misinformation out there, and since none of these companies can control this, then we as the government are going to step in, and now we're going to regulate. And you got social media's credit scores, and you have the universal basic income, and you now have the, Karagma, and all of these things are going to be woven into one. You got the crypto, okay?
Misinformation. We are back with Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe. James, you just heard President Biden plead with social media and media companies to pretty much censor whatever is not part of the narrative. You wrote a whole book on it, American Muckraker, drawing parallels to communist China, Russia, and the media ecosystem in the United States today. Explain.
Well, Maria, journalism used to be about holding people to account, and now journalism represents the power to be the ombudsman for the people inside government. You have a symbiotic relationship between...
Okay, let's bring this word out, ombudsman, because I heard it and I wanted to bring it out. Let's hear it again.
To be the ombudsman for the people in...
Okay, here we go, ombudsman. And so the definition of this word here is...
Ombudsman.
An official appointed to investigate individuals' complaints against maladministration, especially that of public authorities. Okay, so basically what he's saying is how the narrative that was once being investigated by journalists, and the verification and the validation of what was once said in the government, was the standard of the media, was to make for sure that they were verifying it. Now there's people on the inside that are now working with the narrative instead of against the narrative. Okay?
Used to be about holding people to account, and now journalism represents the power to be the ombudsman for the people inside government. You have a symbiotic relationship between, for example, the New York Times, the FBI, and big pharmaceutical companies. That's just now...
Now, check that out. New York Times, FBI, and Big Pharma. Basically, all of these three are now, and I'm sure others, are working in cahoots. Because who's benefiting the most off of the people? Those entities. And so when information comes out from guys like this, and I'm surprised even Fox News is even covering it, but the point being here is because they are also, Fox News and CNN, they're also a part of the conglomerate. Okay? But this is the shame that's now coming to Esau, because he cannot control the narrative any longer. All right. Yeah, let's play this.
That's not how it should be. And in communist countries, there is that symbiosis as well. And what does misinformation even mean? Does it mean that you're giving false information? No. It means that you're giving the readers the wrong conclusion by giving them true information. So that's the problem with journalism today. And as represented recently by our victory against the New York Times in our defamation lawsuit, sometimes you can hold the media accountable. And I talk about how to do that in American Muckraker.
This is Jake, man. I'm telling you, man. It's got to be Jake. This is Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 20. The anger of the Lord shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days, ye shall consider it perfectly. Okay? And that's exactly what people are going to see. They're going to see and consider it perfectly that Yahweh Shemi Shai is the one revealing Esau for who he really is. And he's no longer able to hide himself. This is Jeremiah 23 and 24. Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him? Saith the Lord. Do not I feel heaven and earth, saith the Lord? So yeah, these are the things that Esau is trying to run from. He's trying to outlast prophecy, and that's not possible. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Okay? Because Esau doesn't want you to know that he's in league with the FBI, Big Farm, and the media. Because then now what people would look at is the fact that all of this was a ruse. Okay? All of this was a ploy. All of this was a snare. Okay? This wasn't a reaction. This was proactive. And what Esau is trying to sell to the people is that, oh yeah, man, we just scrambled, we got together, warp speed, all of these things to come to the rescue when it was all planned out. Okay. And that's what he didn't want you to know. He didn't want you to know that these things were already planned out, because then now he would be an accomplice. He would be at the forefront of it. He's the one that should be taken down for the RICO. Okay. Racketeering. All right. But that's another story. But that's why the Lord is going to judge him. You know what I'm saying? Because Esau's laws are not going to take him down. The laws of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai will. Okay. This is Mark 4:22. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was there anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. And that's what the Lord is doing. He's revealing Esau for the liar in which he is. He's using his own people. Now everyone is now getting their fix off of being able to take, shots at the GOV. Because people have been oppressed for too long. Even though, these other heathen nations, these crackers and 2/3, they all are going to receive judgment. They're seeing Esau for who he is now. It's no longer this, this benevolent guy that was, just doing what he could to keep the world going. Like, nah, bro. The whole couple of years of the statues of Columbus and all of that being taken down, and George Washington. I'm telling you, watch. Hey, when that Mount Rushmore gets defamed, you already know it's a wrap. See? Because that's one of the pinnacles of Esau's glory. The Statue of Liberty, all the rest of that. The White House. People are now attacking the White House. This place is done, man.
Well, James, Senator Ron Johnson was with me last week, and he talked about what is a real scandal in his eyes, that you've got approved generic drugs that are safe, the safety profile remarkable on these drugs, and yet they are censored by big tech and media. And in effect, the American public believes you're not supposed to treat COVID at all. Just go and suck it up and isolate for 2 weeks.
Well, another example, Maria, right on that point, is that we've done 2 stories on Pfizer in the last few months, one of which was a scientist at Pfizer's, this is his words, not mine, saying that the antibodies were stronger than their own vaccine. Another whistleblower within Pfizer came to us, Melissa was her name, and she exposed documents from one of their senior directors telling people not to share certain information with the audience. These are statements from within the pharmaceutical company, and we were banned from Twitter for, quote, misinformation, to quote Joe Biden. So what does it mean exactly? What does that term mean anymore? It means we don't trust the people with the truth.
Right. And that word, misinformation, just as it, has happened over the past couple of years, you have banners, you have like little things that pop up and say, this information is labeled as misinformation, by these entities. Because people are now awakening to Esau's lies, his framing of deceit, his mouth working evil. Okay. And these are the things that are now being discovered. Okay. And made bare. So, let's bring this out. Jeremiah 49 verse 10, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. This is what Esau is trying to run from now. Esau's trying to run from the words of prophecy. Okay? He's distraught, though he sought it carefully with tears. Okay? He's trying to hide himself. He's still trying to stay in the seat and the authority with the jacket and the tie and the brush back hair. But now people are no longer seeing all of this. See, all of this is imagery. No, people aren't seeing this anymore. People are now seeing Esau Edom. They're seeing the spirit of a sinister being. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Okay. 2 Thessalonians 2:3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. That's who's being revealed. You and all of the accomplices that you have had from the very beginning of time, going all the way back to Cain, that old serpent, okay, that old dragon. That's you. And you're being revealed by people who you thought you had that spell over. Okay? It says, verse 6, let's just jump down. It says, and now ye know what withholding, that he might be revealed in his time. And this is the time in which we're in. We're in the time of Esau being revealed. It's been a methodical process, but people are now losing that love affair that it once had for America. Especially after going through these cycles of fear and then realizing they've been bamboozled. You know, they were already bamboozled with the 9-11. They've been bamboozled, year after year after year with this whole fictitious statement of critical race theory, of how America was founded. Now he's being revealed. Okay? And then the next step is for him to be judged. Verse 8, 2 Thessalonians 2:8, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Okay? And that's through prophecy. And America's going to be destroyed, man. When the chariots of the Lord return, Yahushua is going to eviscerate this place. All right. So last part here I'm going to bring out. This is from Project Veritas on Instagram. And basically, this is going to show you that those entities that were once, separate and had no dealings with each other, now they're teaming up. But I just want to play part of this because it's Esau has to perform damage control before too many people start to get wind of this, and even this is just a day ago, only 500,000 people. That's nothing. Okay. But if you look at the rate in which that escalates, then now as I said earlier, the narrative doesn't last as long as it used to. Okay. So we'll play this and we'll wrap up, and Lord will. This was edifying for the elect.
Breaking this on your show because we just found this out from a FOIA request. Now it turns out the FBI has been communicating, the Department of Justice communicating with Pfizer about Project Veritas. Why in the world is the FBI talking to Pfizer, apparently, about me? So you ask, is this the future? There's nowhere else for these whistleblowers to go. They can't go to the Washington Post. They can't go to Bezos's rag because his rag represents those in power. They work in symbiosis with the authorized knowers. They relay to us what they want us to hear. And the whole point of investigative reporting is to challenge those, to bite the hand that feeds you. So it's a movement, it's a populist movement insofar as people on the inside are following their conscience. You have two decisions. You can follow your conscience, and in which case you might lose your livelihood. Or you can survive at any price, to quote the late Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and go against your conscience. And I think increasingly citizens are following their conscience no matter what.
And so through the Spirit, Esau is being revealed. And this goes to show you, not only are we at the end, but this is just a process of time through the Spirit of Yahweh Shemi Shai, and this place being judged. So Lord will, this was edifying for the elect. Until next time, I'm going to say Shalom.